Hi everybody. So today I'm outside. It's nice and sunny out. It's a little chilly still, about 45 degrees or so. But I couldn't resist being out in the sunshine. And I have a little treat. So since chapter 5 is a little short today, I think I'm going to read both chapter 5 and chapter 6 today. And I hope you enjoy it. I need my glasses on. There we go. That's better. Our having read the poem aloud must have made the magic come alive. Right before our disbelieving eyes, the second floor of the building began to materialize. Not out of stone, but out of some kind of shimmery light. Sydney looked at me, but didn't say a word. I didn't quite know what was happening, but I was so excited to be part of this adventure. We walked up the stairs with some hesitation, but our curiosity propelled us forward. Sydney went ahead and called for me to catch up. Ashley, look, I can put my hand through the wall. It feels a little strange, almost like the feeling you get when you bring the wrong ends of two magnets together. It feels a little bouncy. Sydney, be careful, I said. But as I said that, Sydney walked right through the shimmery wall. Worried, I ran after her. She kept waving me in from the other side. As I walked through the wall, I felt as though I were walking through jello, almost like I was walking in slow motion, as if the air around me had thickened. Ashley, look around. All the furnishings and books are here, but they're all made of this same shimmery light. There are so many colors of light, I said. The chandelier looks like sparkling diamonds with an inner glow. Sydney, I don't think we should be here. We should go, I said with concern. This is very strange, and no one is around, I thought. Maybe we shouldn't be here. Sydney and I looked at each other, amazed. We held hands and walked back through the wall together. We ran down the stairs and fell back on the soft grass, looking back to confirm what we had seen. Sydney closed her eyes and shook her head just like she had the day she was frustrated with me. She looked up at the building, turned to look at me, and was silent, which was a first. This is more unbelievable than I had ever imagined, I said. Pinch me. This can't be real. Let's keep exploring, said Sydney. We got up and went back to the main entrance to see if anything else had changed. Our hunch was right. That big, heavy door opened onto lush gardens with a long maze made of boxwood bushes, taller than Sydney and me. One path led us to a cascading waterfall that shimmered like tiny white crystals. The water looked so fresh and clean, we had to take a sip. As soon as I swallowed, I felt strange. A buzzing sensation enveloped my entire body, and then, just as quickly as it had come, it disappeared. I looked over at Sydney to tell her what I felt. To my surprise, she was hovering in midair, a big smile on her face, her eyes looking up at the star-filled sky. Ashley, my body felt tingly, and when I started laughing, I began to float. At this point, I was a little scared. I didn't know what was happening. Sydney was laughing and floating. The building was still shimmering. Come up, Ashley, Sydney called me. It's so much fun. So I tried jumping up, and I tried and tried again until Sydney started laughing, and that made me giddy too. Soon I was laughing and floating up and away towards Sydney. So I'm going to take just a few seconds break because I have to go get a blanket. It's cold. I'm back. Okay, so that was chapter 5, and now we're reading chapter 6. I had butterflies in my belly. The more we laughed, the higher we flew. We could see everything, the library grounds, the entrance, the town. We saw people walking their dogs, cars driving by, roads down below, homes with their lights on, and this magical section of the library that no one else seemed to be able to see. Ashley, come closer and push off of me, said Sydney. Let's see how far we can go. See if you can do some cartwheels in midair like me. How many can you do? Here I come, I shouted. We were bouncing off each other like we were on trampolines, doing flips in midair and competing for how many we could do. Before we knew it, we were flying through the brilliant night sky. We hovered over the castle. Looking down, we saw glowing orbs covered in what looked like radiant material that draped down to the floor. Sydney, do you see that? Yes, I thought. They were lights, but we went closer. Me too, but they look like they're communicating with each other. These beings glowed, seeming to brighten and dim a certain pattern, as though each was taking a turn glowing. They have eyes like pure crystals. We could see them clearly through the transparent castle walls. Their faces looked so soft and gentle, I said. They didn't have mouths, but they smiled with their eyes. Did you notice they all glow like the water back at the falls? They look a little like glow sticks, but bigger, said Sydney. They were dancing and laughing with each other. As they laughed, their bodies glowed brighter, as if they were made of pure energy. They looked friendly and seemed to be having a great time. I waved to Sydney and pointed to the ground. Let's go back down. I need to take a time out. This is too much to take in. We glided slowly back to the ground and landed softly by a well. Surrounding the shimmery well was a glowing emerald green forest. Rabbits and deer walked by, looking like the animals back in our world, but with a halo of light around their whole bodies. They looked right at us, but didn't seem afraid at all. I reached out to pet one. Sydney, he is so soft and gentle. What big brown eyes. I think he's a baby deer. Ashley, I'm kind of scared of animals. What if they bite? Said Sydney with fear in her eyes. Come closer, Sydney. I'll hold your hand. You'll see, he's very gentle. He won't hurt you. I'll be right by your side. And so Sydney held my hand and carefully petted the baby deer on his head. Ashley, he licked me. It tickled. I think he likes me. Several energy beings were there, walking along the many paths. Each shone as brightly as the ones we had seen earlier. One of the beings came toward us. She glowed softly and tenderly. I could feel her soothing light, and the closer she came, the more I felt a warmth, almost a soft hug around my heart. I looked over at Sydney, who was smiling and looking at her with a sweet gaze. The being glowed with light. I felt comfort. She was familiar to me, as though I had known her my whole life. It was the same kind of sensation I had with Nana. She made me feel safe and loved. That same moment, I also remembered that Mom must be worried about us. I think we should go, I said reluctantly. Sydney agreed. It was getting late, and we needed to get back home. We wished we could stay longer to satisfy our curiosity about this place. We tried to jump into the air, but our feet felt heavy and frozen to the ground. We tried and tried, but we weren't able to fly. In the meantime, the being came nearer. "Sydney," I said, "come closer." We held each other's hands, not knowing what to expect. My head told me to be careful, but my heart felt calm, as though it was safe. "Are you lost?" asked the being. No words were spoken, but somehow we knew what she said. "Well, I don't think we're actually lost because we know we were at the library," said Sydney. "We're just a little scared and confused." "We don't understand what's happening around us," I said. I continued to sense her warm demeanor, but as she came closer, I began to feel scared. This whole experience had been exciting, a little scary and soothing too. I was feeling so many things. As the being approached, she smiled and asked us our names. "My name is Ashley, and this is Sydney," I replied. "It's an honor to meet you, Sydney and Ashley," she said. "Thank you. Who are you?" I asked, excited to know more. She began to tell us an incredible story, and that will be in Chapter 7.